What was there before the universe? The answer is nothing. And I don't mean empty space. I mean not even the concept of nothing. It's a thought that kind of breaks your brain, right? And yet, from that total impossibility, everything began.
So let's get into it. We are about to take a journey through the entire 13.8 billion year story of, well, everything, from one single tiny point to the absolutely mind-boggling universe we see today. Buckle up.
So where do we start? At an impossible beginning. Now I want you to get that picture of a bomb going off in empty space out of your head. That's not what happened. This wasn't an explosion in space. It was the expansion of space itself, all of it just appearing from a point so small and so dense it's almost impossible to even talk about. And that single point, we call it the singularity. I mean, really try to picture this. Everything that would ever exist, every star, every galaxy, you, me, all of it, was crushed into a space smaller than an atom. Infinite heat, infinite density. That was the starting line for all of reality.
Just look at this number for a second. That is a fraction of a second so small we don't even have a name for it in everyday life. And in that one tiny, incomprehensible flash, the most dramatic event in the history of the cosmos took place. Everything changed.
We call this moment inflation. The universe went from smaller than a single atom to larger than an entire galaxy, almost instantly. And I know what you're probably thinking, wait, nothing can go faster than light. And you're right. Nothing traveled through space. Space itself unfurled, expanding exponentially. This one event set the stage for all of physics as we know it.
So, as all this new space expanded and started to cool down, something incredible happened. The universe began writing its own rulebook. The fundamental forces that we know today, gravity, electromagnetism, and the two nuclear forces, they all used to be a single unified force. But as things cooled, they froze out, one by one, becoming distinct. The laws of physics were literally being born.
Okay, so the rules are set. Now we hit another super important milestone, the first 3 minutes. In about the time it takes to make a cup of tea, the early universe cooked up all the raw ingredients it would ever need. And you can really think of it like a recipe. Step 1. The universe cools just enough for these tiny particles called quarks to stick together and make protons and neutrons. Step 2. Those new particles start fusing into the first atomic nuclei. And by the time the 3-minute timer went off, that was it. The kitchen was closed. The universe had its ingredients, a ton of hydrogen, a good amount of helium, and just a tiny pinch of lithium. The menu for the entire cosmos was set.
But after that initial frenzy of creation, things settled into, well, a very, very long fog. For the next 380,000 years, the entire universe was just a blazing hot, soupy plasma. It was so dense that light couldn't travel. A photon would pop into existence and bam, immediately slam into an electron. The universe was incredibly bright, but you couldn't see a thing. It was a giant, glowing, opaque fog. And then, after all that time, a switch flipped. The universe cooled down to just the right temperature for electrons to finally get snagged by all those atomic nuclei, forming the first stable atoms. And just like that, the fog cleared. Suddenly, for the very first time, light was free to travel across the cosmos. That very first light is still traveling today, and we can see it as the cosmic microwave background. It is literally our universe's baby picture.
So the lights came on, right? Well, not exactly. After that first flash of light, the universe went dark for a long, long time. We call this the cosmic dark ages. But something was happening in the silence, in the shadows. An invisible force was patiently getting to work, building the future. I mean, for hundreds of millions of years, nothing. No stars, no galaxies. Just these enormous, lonely clouds of hydrogen and helium gas drifting around in the dark. But good old gravity, with some help from its mysterious partner, dark matter, was playing the long game. It was slowly but surely gathering up all that gas, getting ready for the big show. So how did the lights finally turn on? Well, this invisible dark matter created a massive cosmic web, like a giant gravitational scaffolding stretched across the universe. And gravity used that web to pull in those clouds of hydrogen and helium. As more and more gas got pulled in, the clouds were squeezed tighter and tighter, and their cores got hotter and hotter until they hit about 10 million degrees Celsius. And at that moment, kaboom, nuclear fusion ignited. The first stars were born, and the dark ages were officially over. Now, these first stars, they were not like our sun. They were absolute monsters, hundreds of times more massive. They were the rock stars of the early universe. They lived fast, burned incredibly bright, and died young in these colossal explosions we call supernova. But here's the beautiful part. Their deaths weren't an ending. They were a new beginning, blasting all the heavier elements they had forged, like carbon and oxygen, out into the cosmos.
So, this is all starting to look a lot more like the universe we know today. We've got stars, we've got galaxies, but it turns out all that stuff that we can see, it's barely anything. It's just the tip of the cosmic iceberg, which of course begs the question, what is reality really made of?
Get ready for maybe the most humbling fact in all of science. You see this chart? That tiny little sliver, just 5%? That's us. That's every star, every planet, every person, every dog, every cup of coffee, everything we have ever seen or touched. The other 95% of the universe is made of stuff we can't see and, frankly, barely understand. Dark matter and dark energy. It's absolutely wild.
So, yeah, what is that other 95%? This is pretty much the biggest question in physics today. We can see what they do. We know dark matter is like this invisible glue holding galaxies together, and we know dark energy is some mysterious force that's pushing space apart, making the universe expand faster and faster. But what are they? We have no idea. Seriously.
And that mysterious dark energy? It's probably going to be the thing that writes the final chapter for our universe. Because just as everything had a beginning, it's almost certainly going to have an end. And right now, scientists have a few main ideas about what that end might look like.
The three leading theories are pretty intense. First is the Big Freeze, where the universe just expands forever until everything is so far apart that it becomes a cold, dark, and lifeless void. Then there's the Big Rip, where dark energy gets so strong it literally tears everything apart, galaxies, stars, planets, right down to the atoms themselves. Or maybe it's the Big Crunch, a perfect mirror of the beginning, where gravity finally wins, reverses expansion, and pulls everything back into one final singularity. Which one will it be? The future is still unwritten. So let's just recap this wild ride. We started 13.8 billion years ago from a single point. Within 3 minutes, we got our basic building blocks. At 380,000 years old, light broke free. After a few 100 million years, stars lit up the darkness. Billions of years go by. Our solar system takes shape. And then, here we are. Right now, you are at the current end of that incredible timeline.
But here's the most amazing part. This isn't just some abstract story about things happening far away. This is your story. The very atoms that make you, you. The carbon in your DNA, the oxygen you're breathing right now, the iron in your blood. Every single one was forged in the heart of a star that lived and died billions of years ago. It's not just a poetic saying. You are, quite literally, made of stardust.
And that leaves us with this one last powerful thought. Through us, through our curiosity, our science, our ability to wonder, the universe is, for a brief moment, becoming aware of itself. You aren't just living in the universe. For a fleeting moment in cosmic time, you are the universe experiencing itself. And what a story it is to experience.